vsauce, Kevin here. Welcome to the Create Unknown. With me is my co-host, Matthew Tabor. Matt, please tell me something.
Okay, well, it's 1876, and on a small patch of ground in Kentucky, meat starts falling from the sky. It was called the Kentucky Meat Shower. So here's my question. You're there, Kevin. Meat starts falling around you. Do you eat this meat?
Do I eat sky meat?
Yeah, sky meat falls. It hits the ground. Do you taste this?
Unless I caught it, maybe, because then it's ground meat, like it fell from the sky onto the ground, and now it's dirty ground meat. I'm definitely not eating that.
Yeah, so that's the weird thing about the Kentucky Meat Shower. The whole thing is bizarre, but Scientific American reported that the people who saw this originally thought it was beef. And then it says, 2 gentlemen who tasted it judged it to be mutton or venison. And I'm like, somebody tasted this? Meat falls from the sky? And somebody's like, well, we should definitely cook and eat this just to make sure we know what it is.
Well, I mean, if you have 100 people around sky meat, 2 guys are going to try it. Those are those are the odds.
Right. There's always going to be somebody who eats the weird thing. Well, I guess they have a specimen of meat that's like preserved in a bottle. Yeah, no, it says Transylvania University, where there's a specimen from the Kentucky Meat Shower. So at some point, maybe you could do an episode where you cook and eat 140-some-year-old sky meat.
Guaranteed to be on YouTube trending. Well, speaking of strange and wonderful things, we spoke with Dr. Grandayy and Dolan Dark, the co-meme force Lord Generals. There was an election, and the two of them tied. I think it was at, 42%. So they are both the highest-ranking members of the meme force. And these are 2 guys who I just find hilarious. Dr. Grandayy is newer onto the scene. I've only known him for less than a year now. Dolan Dark has been around for quite a while. Actually, one of the surprising things to me about speaking with Dolan Dark was how long he's been doing this. I mean, he's been on YouTube forever, much longer than I imagined.
Yeah, no, he's had a long grind as a creative, and it's awesome to see that pay off. And it's so cool to talk to both of these guys who, they have the same end result in terms of appeal. Like, they're making people laugh. They're just doing amazing stuff. And they seem to get there in 2 very different ways and have different mindsets. And when we get them talking together, the way they play off each other, you can tell that they both have very different but exceptional understandings of what people love.
So we spoke with each of them individually, and then we brought them together to speak together for the first time ever. I mean, they said that they have, obviously had conversations back and forth over Twitter and DM and that sort of thing. But this podcast is the first time that they have heard each other's voices back and forth, which is remarkable.
When they said that they had a really quick call together right before they talked to us, so that it wasn't the very first time they were hearing each other's voices. I kind of wish that we'd bugged that call so we could have heard the very first exchange, because just imagining them saying hello and then what?
That conversation would then be stored in a jar next to the sky meat forever and ever, so that our ancient descendants can enjoy Dr. Grandayy and Dolan Dark's voices with a healthy helping of ancient sky meat. Okay, so you are about to hear the delicious sounds of Dr. Grandayy and Dolan Dark for the very first time together, because you are about to enter the Create Unknown. Chapter 1, Dolan Dark. So this whole meme thing, memes have been around obviously for a really long time.
Yeah.
But I feel like something new has really started happening in maybe the last year or so, where memers are a thing now. And you're one of them. I mean, you have a persona that you've developed as someone who can be consistently relied upon to create great memes. So what has been that journey for you, and like, how did you get here? Where did you start? What was?
How does one become a meme?
Yeah, how does become? How do you become a meme lord? Did you start as a meme squire?
Yeah, you start as a peasant and work your way up. I've actually been doing it. Well, not YouTube itself, but I've probably been making memes since like maybe like 2009 or so. So I'll just hopefully don't bore you. Basically, I used to go on a bunch of like Facebook pages way back when I was still in high school and stuff. You know, like just funny images, and back when, you know, the troll face and that was around. All that stuff. Yeah. So that was like what first got me like kind of interested, which now it's like one of the worst memes ever, but you know, humble beginnings. So I saw all these images. I was like, hang on, like all these Facebook pages, like I could probably make some myself. So like I do not remember what it was about, but I just made a random picture, and one of these big pages pretty much reposted it and credited me. And I was like, okay, that actually got like a lot of likes. I could probably make my own page. I had a Facebook page for a few years where I just make my own memes and post other people's memes and credit them and stuff. And then did you ever hear about the montage parodies and stuff?
No, explain that.
No, like MLG stuff. It's like air horns and
Oh, what, the Snoop Dogg GIF where he's like pretending to drive? Yeah,
yeah, that's the one, the weed one. So there started to be this big come up of like parodies of video game montages, which is like videos, and it was just, you know, they'd take Shrek and they'd put like a friggin' weed blunt in his mouth and stuff, and it, you know, just really basic stuff that was just funny because it was so out of the ordinary. So I made a video. Well, I learned how to make a video on Sony Vegas, and I put it up after like working on it for an hour because that's how long it took to make stuff back in the day. No effort required. I posted it to a Reddit, and it blew up overnight, and I got like 1,000 subscribers just like out of nowhere.
Just overnight on that one video, got you 1,000?
Pretty much. I think it was 1,000, or it was pretty close to 1,000. I was like, oh wow, like that's crazy, because I used to make Call of Duty videos back in the day, you know, way back when I was younger, like 13 and stuff, and I never got anywhere on YouTube. I was doing that for like 2 years. So to get what I was working for 2 years in a night was crazy. And then it just kind of...
You just kept going, right? You just kept seizing an opportunity to basically be funny.
Yeah, the montage parody genre was popular for like a year. So obviously you have to like adapt to, you know, the current popular memes and stuff. So at the time the trend was like dying, and I was at university, didn't have much time. So I think I got to like 40,000 subscribers where my channel just kind of stopped growing at all. Like it was just dead in the water, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm never getting to 100,000. And then I honestly do not remember what happened, but I just kind of I made a few different videos, but still related to memes, and they got views, and then it just kind of kept going. I was like, okay, yeah, and then here we are.
And what were you going to school for? What were you going to university for?
Oh, I went to university for. I originally went for earth science, because it was like, because I did chemistry and physics in high school. I was like, you know, I should probably follow science related stuff, but I don't know. It was like you get quite forced into it. You know, you finish high school and they're like, okay, by the way, choose what you want your career to be in like a month. I was like, okay. So I originally went there for earth science, did a year of that. I was like, okay, I'm not really a hippie, you know, I don't want to study rocks sort of thing. So I switched to computer science because I knew there was a career in that. You know, you could get a degree and get out and get a job in that. But whilst I was doing that, I think my first year of computer science is actually when I started making the videos on YouTube. But anyway, so I finished my degree 3 years later, barely, because I just did not like it at all by the end of it. And then I have a computer science degree and I'm making memes for a living.
Hey, well, you were successful at it, so it makes sense that you would keep doing that. Did you end up getting a job in computer science, or did you just go?
No, so I graduated because I still had the YouTube thing going in the background, right? But it was only like I put a video up once every month or two. There was no financial substance to it. Because I was obviously sick of computer science. I was like, I'm gonna take a gap year, and I'm gonna try and make YouTube a sustainable source of income. Because I had all this free time too. I knew I could put a lot of work into it. For that year, I just started my second channel and just kept posting stuff like every few days. And then it just kept growing. It was crazy.
So you went darker, like for that commercial viability, right? Like that's when you made that channel, when that was like a concerted effort to make a living out of it?
I always had it. No, I never tried to make that my bigger channel, but I had this mindset where everything on the main channel should be like a project I've worked at least like 40 hours or 20 to 40 hours on or something, something big. And then the second channel was something I could just put literally anything up on, shit posts as you will, as they call them. So then those started getting the views, and then my main channel just kept growing in the background. It was just, I don't know, it just worked out somehow. The smart thing to do would have been to combine it all into one channel, because I've got two split fan bases essentially. If you added it all together, I'd have a lot more total subscribers. But I mean, it works, so can't really fault it.
So you've got Dolan Dark, you've got Dolan Darker, and then you have Dolan Darkest, don't you?
Oh, that's like a next level of shit posts.
So detail the differences between. So I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know, Hot Wings, where you have hot, hotter, and then like Inferno. But so explain the differences between the three channels and how you think of them.
Okay, so Dolan Darkest is what Dolan Darker essentially started out to be. Stuff that I have no pride in. I just put it up. I don't care. I just found it funny. I don't care what people think of what I put on that channel, is essentially. So Dolan Dark is, although I've barely uploaded on that at the moment, it's literally just compilations of my memes from the second channel, which is poor effort from me. And it was meant to be like I would upload a big project 1 month, meme compilation next month, big project next month, so on. But I just I don't know, I just haven't had the inspiration or the ideas to just sit down and do a huge project sort of thing. So at the moment, the main channel is literally just compilations of what's on the second channel, but they do a lot of views, which is crazy. So it, can't fault it.
So you got out of school, you had an opportunity to give it a shot, right? Because you said you had all the free time.
Yeah, exactly.
And I assume, well, you had the degree too. If it doesn't work, you can just get a normal job, huh?
Yeah, it was a plan. It's a good plan B to have. Even now, if everything falls apart, because you know how unstable YouTube can be.
Yep.
I at least have that plan B, even though I wouldn't want to go to it. It's still there.
Yeah, and I'd love to talk about how unstable YouTube is, especially for you, because what you're doing is really kind of remixing other content from YouTube and from the internet. And I'd love to hear how monetization affects you, or demonetization, because I mean, I know that's a big, problem for, well, a lot of people, and especially I would think for your channels.
I guess, the adpocalypse, I can't remember when that was. I think that happened pretty much the year that I started trying to make it a big thing. So it was really bad timing on that regard. I'm gonna give it a shot. Oh, by the way, every video you upload is demonetized. Good luck. So that was pretty tough. It was literally, I would be uploading and maybe 1 in 10 videos would get monetized. It was just poor. But at the moment, I haven't had many problems at all with demonetization. It's usually just record labels claiming audio clips that I've used and stuff. Because obviously what I create is like a fair use gray area. You know, some videos I'll make will be definitely fair use. Like I've edited the shit out of a video. It's, you know, it's beyond what it used to be. But then some videos will just be, you know, a movie scene, and I'll just cut it together with another scene for comedic effect, which, you know, probably wouldn't hold up in court if I was ever to go that way.
And how do you think about, so when I think about memes and like where we are today with comedy,
yeah,
you know, when I grew up,
a bad place.
The best place.
The best place. I think
the best place is a bad place.
Yeah. Because it seems so unrestrained from the comedy that Matt and I grew up with, which was on television or in movies. And that was it. Like, those were the only places. I mean, you could go, obviously, to a club, I guess, and watch stand-up. But if you're too young for that, if you're 13, you know, you're not going to Caroline's, especially if you live in, you know, New Zealand or Iowa, and there aren't even comedy clubs. So memes really have opened up this completely unfettered style of comedy. I mean, you laugh as if it's, and it is maybe a little silly to overthink this, but I think that it's worth overthinking.
Yeah, like if we think back to the 90s, like Kevin and I both liked Mr. Show with David Cross and Bob Odenkirk, right? And that was maybe 96, give or take, right? But at that time, there was nothing like it that was really available on TV.
Surrealist, absurdist humor? Or?
Yeah, very surreal, very absurd, very satirical.
Okay. Like Eric Andre, modern day Eric Andre?
Probably, yeah. Maybe you could consider it the precursor to that. And it was on HBO, so it was uncensored, which was a big deal at the time.
But other than that, it was like sitcoms.
That's Frasier.
Yeah, that's it.
Cookie cutter stuff.
And like the wackiest stuff was Saturday Night Live, which I think
that totally pushed the envelope.
That was pushing the envelope then, and I think probably today kids think of SNL as totally lame.
Through a lot of envelopes now. Jeez.
It doesn't seem like a big deal until like you look back and see that path that went from this extremely safe thing. You know, it's sort of like rock songs in the 50s. You know, like a song about going to a sock hop and like, you know, sharing a milkshake with your best girl. You know, and then you hit the 70s in the, you know, Jim Morrison is singing about, you know, doing God knows what with like 7 needles in his arm. You know, it's that sort of shift.
So you're Jim Morrison, basically.
Yeah, that's saying. You.
Comparing memes to heroin, it's a good comparison.
And how did vsauce get folded into your meme work? Was it like what were the origins of that? Because obviously, like, Michael is a main player in your memes.
Yeah, he's a prominent feature. I honestly, because I think people had there'd be the occasional, you know, picture or image or video not making fun, but, you know, taking something from vsauce, because he was one of the most, well, he still is one of the most well-known YouTubers, you know, like any audience, you know, will know him. So I think I just I'd always had this, you know, I'd always enjoyed the videos, like I'd seen all of them, and I was like, I wonder what would happen if I used him as a punchline, you know, just the hey vsauce, you know. And I honestly thought it wouldn't do too well. I was like, do people know who he is? Is this too is he too scientific, you know, because my fan base wasn't exactly, you know, the smartest people back then. I didn't to say it nicely, don't hurt me.
They were general interest subscribers. I think that's the nice way to put it.
I mean, because I came from the montage parody thing, you know, people subscribe to me for like Shrek with glasses on, you know, there's not too much substance there. So I think the first video I can recall was I think it was a SpongeBob episode when, I don't know, did you guys ever watch SpongeBob? Is it too ahead of you, or did you still get to see some of that when you were younger? Or
a little bit. We're a little old for SpongeBob.
Yeah, a little too old
we were like more like the Ren and Stimpy generation.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I think I'm like the middle between that, because I remember Ren and Stimpy was on TV when I was younger. Anyway, what was I saying? So basically they unmask Patrick or something, you know, the starfish dude. And underneath is like a gorilla in the original episode. So I was just like, you know, a meme is usually about replacing something in an existing format. It's like, what if I put hey vsauce Michael in there, in there, and then I put it out and it had like really good reception. I'm pretty sure at the time it had like maybe like 2,000 likes to like 1 dislike. So, you know, there was
Wow.
pretty much like an overwhelming like acceptance of Michael. You know, like all praise
Yeah,
Michael.
that indicates that people enjoy the content.
Yeah, that's an incredible
I
ratio.
think a 2,000 to 1 ratio.
Oh, the ratios were a lot better when I first started out because then you get more and more people from different backgrounds and all that. So, but yeah, it did really well and I liked it, and then I just kind of ran with it. You know, if I was struggling for ideas, I'd be like, hey, what if I throw vsauce in there for the 50th time?
So there are also a lot of Michael memes that take something out of context and make it incredibly offensive that I've seen.
The image memes?
Image memes. Were those
Okay, I never partook in those ones.
were those happening before your video memes, or did those start happening afterwards?
I definitely know that, like, I wouldn't want to sound cocky, but I definitely made him into like what the meme he is today. Not him himself, you know, just the meme popularity meme wise.
So nobody was really using him as a subject before you started.
No, yeah, I think there might have been some, you know, image memes scattered around because, you know, they're like so terribly offensive that they can be funny, but because it's so, yeah. Anyway, basically, if one like prominent creator, not that I was big then, you know, if one person makes a meme about somebody or something, they have the power to literally make them a meme. It's a weird thing to talk about, but like PewDiePie and JonTron and stuff have made so many people, you know, they make fun or make parody a video and then people catch on and it becomes its own monster, really.
This is like that Alec Baldwin speech. I forget the movie where he's a doctor and he's on the like witness stand and he's like, "I am God." This is that same sort of moment where you confess that you make.
Well, and is that like something that you consider to be a burden at all? Like, is there a lot of responsibility on your shoulders to have to consider, like, if I make this person a meme, it's going to bring like a lot of weird attention to them that they otherwise wouldn't have received?
I don't know, because obviously at the time I didn't really have any idea that I would make or help make him a popular meme subject. I guess nowadays I feel like I just avoid using anything as a punchline, which could be like actually damaging to, you know, whatever I use as a punchline. But like I used to make edgy memes back when I was 15 and stuff, but like that was before YouTube. You know, the classic bad edgy memes. Yeah, don't need to name them.
But yeah, a face reveal on a cartoon starfish this is not malicious. Like, this is not going to go badly.
Yeah, exactly. There was never any malicious intent. Yeah, when I used Michael, I think I'd get the very occasional comment saying like, "Why are you making fun of Michael? His videos are actually good." And I'm just like, yeah, I know. Like the whole joke was like, what the hell is he doing in a meme? You know, and then it kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, it seems like a parody is the highest form of flattery kind of situation. Like, you wouldn't make fun of someone that you didn't have respect for.
Yeah, to an extent. Of course, there's people like Jake Paul and all that, you know, fair game. You know, there's no respect for them there, but.
Right. So that ends up being kind of swung in the other direction, where it's so clear that this person is not someone that you hold in high regard.
Yeah.
That everyone understands.
Normally if I do a video on someone like that, people on the internet are already aware that this person's a dickhead, you know. And just to try and make an example, you know, the SpongeBob footage I used with Michael, I'm not going to put Jake Paul in there. Like, there's no comedy there, you know. The whole thing with the malicious intended memes are usually, you know, making fun of them, like obviously making fun of them, sort of thing, if that makes sense.
But he has a huge following, the Jake Paulers, and do they ever come after you for making fun of him?
Okay, because I guess he hasn't really been too big lately. It's mostly Logan, if you follow that, Logan and KSI. No, I definitely when I made some videos about Jake Paul, what did I do? He did a live performance of that Everyday Bro song, and I changed it to a Minecraft parody. You know, you've probably seen some of my videos, like some 8-year-old singing a Minecraft song. I make it look like he's singing it. I got a lot of comments about that one. But then it's great because I could take the comments that I got and make another meme about it. Like, if that makes sense. Like I made a comment about Jake Paul on someone else's video. And then I got like literally 1,000 replies of probably, you know, kids that aren't over the age of 10 just insulting me to the best of their knowledge, which, you know, is pretty poor. But so I was able to take some of the comments I got and turn that itself into a video. And it was like, I don't know, you could like capitalize on the hate you receive. Yeah.
And I'd say there's no real damage done to you. It seems like it would be hard for something like that to happen because you've got a persona with this. It seems like it's easier to deal with any of that mass 9-year-old hate. Like it would just kind of bounce off without
especially
you really paying any price, right?
Yeah, because especially like you said, because it's a persona. Like I don't have my face out there, so there's no like they can't hurt my self-esteem because one, they don't know what I look like, and two, they're 8 years old. What are they gonna do? You know. Like...
But if they band together, you know, I'd say like if 100 8-year-olds come after you, you're in trouble. Like if they come at you all at once.
They would overwhelm you,
yeah,
for sure.
You couldn't fight that.
No, 100 is a lot.
Yeah, 100 is.
Yeah.
You'd get tired at like the 30th one.
I'm just imagining like Power Rangers. They just all combine into one big 8-year-old and take me on. No, I haven't had too much hate lately. Like it's still like I'm sure you're probably critical of your own videos and stuff. You know, you'll get say like 100 or 1,000 nice comments, but you'll get that one comment that'll just be like just sticking out at you. It's just like, I don't know, some like you can get the occasional comment that like can get you down, but it's never like too bad. I don't know if you can relate to that.
Oh, I can totally relate to that. I mean, 100%. Yeah, you know, you get 1,000 comments, 999 are, you know, this is the best thing ever, and that one was, you know, you are an idiot piece of garbage, and that's the one that you think about all night.
They try and like hyperanalyze your content and stuff, and you're just like, oh god.
Is that an example of something that bothers you? Because that interests me. Like, what would be a negative comment that like this isn't funny, this is hack, this is cliche, you stole content? You know, what is an example?
It's hard. I've definitely like stopped caring as time goes on. You know, you kind of just get thick skin. Not that like you should even get offended by people insulting your editing and stuff, but I'm trying to think of an example. Like I remember one person, like it's usually on a video that isn't getting received very well, and then on top of that, someone will take the time out to like put a big paragraph about why you suck or something, and you're just like, Jesus, like what is your problem, man? It's a friggin' vsauce meme. There's no, you know, there's no deeper meaning to it. I don't know.
Right. It's supposed to be fun, frivolous, mindlessly entertaining content, and here you are hyper analyzing it in a negative light. That says a lot more about that person, I think, than you.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. I had one saved, screenshot a while ago, but you know, they try and like, they take, it's quite common on a lot of people that make memes like me, is they'll like take what you made, say why it's bad, say why you are bad, and then say why your life is bad. And it's just like, dude, you wrote a paragraph about a guy who makes memes. What's your life like? Like, come on, dude.
So like you make these things one after another where it's designed to be funny to a massive group of people, right?
Yeah,
has anybody contacted you? Like, does it happen where maybe a company will come to you, just say, you know how to appeal to 5 million people in 72 hours? Like, do you get any projects, you know, in addition to stuff like AdSense? Like, what's the viability on this?
Oh, like sponsors and stuff? Are you talking sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happens.
I honestly don't get. I don't think I've ever done like a sponsor video, or you know, you get a lot of people in my business email that will be reaching out, but you probably get a lot of garbage like that too. You know, they'll be like, promote my app, promote this, and you know, it's just pretty much a scam. Like someone literally 2 days ago hit me up and was like, I would like you to put like a 20-second ad for our new mobile game. This is my company. I'll pay you $2,500, which I was like, oh shit, that's a lot of money. I looked them up. They don't even exist. So it's probably just some like kid that's trying to plug his mobile game and then he's just going to run. And I've just put his friggin' game to like 1 million people or whatever.
He's stolen the money from his parents.
I've never received money for anything outside of for anything other than AdSense, really.
Do you think that there's a world
Pretty
in
much.
which brands start to catch up with the viability of entertaining such a large amount of people this way? Like a brand like Old Spice, who they work with Tim and Eric. They clearly have like an irreverent ad campaign. Why wouldn't they in, I don't know, any day now, like tap into the meme community to start making memes?
Yeah, KFC and Wendy's and who else? On Twitter, especially. Some places are really loosening up.
The roasts.
Yeah, and even like you can tell, if I remember, KFC only follows however many herbs and spices. So like they follow like the Spice Girls and Baby Spice, something like that. And herb whatever, and I forget the breakdown, but it's whatever they're famous for in their recipe, and so like they're clearly thinking like, we got to be funny and not take this too seriously, and people like that. It seems like they could tap the power of the meme lords, and it really like make people happy without it coming across as an advertisement.
I feel like a lot of brands are definitely like capitalizing on memes, like you say, but I feel like they all do it themselves. They don't want to. They want to do their own thing. They don't want to, I don't know, intrude, I guess.
Yeah, but what do you think of them doing that? Do you think it's really lame?
It can be really lame, like really hit and miss. When someone tries to appeal to like the mass internet audience, really, I can't really think of too much. There was like, I think it was an old Wendy's or something ad, and back when the impact text memes were big. Do you remember any of those, like Bad Luck Brian and all that?
Yeah.
Scumbag Steve. There was one really bad ad where it was like this dude bites the burger and he looks at the camera and he's like, when you eat a burger like a boss, and this impact font comes up and you're just like, oh my God, just like, please do not do that.
Was it done badly or was it too late or both?
I think it's both, really. It's like too forced. You mentioned the Wendy's Twitter account, which can be pretty funny. They just literally just roast people, and that's like how they get their marketing. And it's kind of like, I've noticed pretty much every brand is trying to do that now. Like you go to some random wings joint in your city, and they've probably got a Twitter account that's roasting people online because like, yeah. There's definitely like the internet is another it's crazy. Like, yeah.
It's constantly changing.
Oh no!
And I see what Kevin and Michael and Jake and the broader education community on YouTube have to go through. Things that were really appealing and worked really well in 2017 may or may not fit really well with right now, and they may be totally dead by next year. And that's a
definitely
kind of slow moving process compared to what you're doing. Where you're picking up on something immediately.
I know what you
mean.
And
it could be dead in like 2 weeks
or 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
People burn through it. So how do you deal with that? Do you have to just constantly be have your finger on the pulse of like what is bubbling?
Yeah, it's I guess it's a mix because like you said, like the memes these days, you have to make it within a day or two of it being relevant, and when you make it that it's not going to be relevant in a week or a month. That's what I don't like, is because you got to have a lot of quantity to get big with memes. There's when I was just doing the main channel, I can't really call it quality because it's memes, but like like I would be putting something out like once every month or 2 months, and you don't get any growth for that. You're proud of what you put out, well, to an extent, but you're not getting enough compensation, I feel, for what the effort you put in was. Also with the big projects, because you mentioned the longevity thing, is I've scrapped more projects than I've made because by the time I was finally had time to do it, to have a whole script planned out or, the scenes planned out and whatever, by the time I go around to do it, the meme's dead. That's the tough part too, is you think of a really good idea, but if you don't execute it straight away, it's game over.
Is there a world in which like a dead meme channel or a dead meme show would actually be funny?
What do you mean?
If you were like, I don't know, like zombie meme, like you say it's already dead, right?
Right.
If you were like upfront about that,
like you're purposely late.
Yeah, you're purposefully late. Would that allow it to give? Would that give the audience enough context to still be entertained by it? Like if you made a glob meme tomorrow. I don't know if that would work at all. If you said like, zombie meme glob, and even though everyone already knows it's dead, but it was funny enough. I don't know. I'm just coming up with.
You can't really like analyze memes. They're like, they're so unpredictable, but you can have like things that will be so old or so lame, they're so old and lame that you can make it become it, you can bring it back ironically, really. There's a lot of memes these days are built on irony too. Like a few years, the My Name Jeff meme. I don't know if you saw that for a while.
No, what was that one?
It's 22 Jump Street. Channing Tatum says like, "My name Jeff," and then it just became a meme.
No, I don't remember that one.
Yeah, that's exactly it. It sounds so. It's like so shit because it was. It was all over Facebook. Anyone from school or stuff would know what it was. So it was like, what people call stuff normie these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it was like, I hate the word, quote, normie, like it was something that my audience wouldn't enjoy and stuff. A few years ago or 2 years ago, Max Mofo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
In his group, he started posting about it. Like someone would post a video and he'd reply with "My name Jeff," like because it's so shit, but like he's bringing it back like a year on.
Right.
So like I got on that bandwagon. So like this really bad meme became funny again because it's so bad. Like so I if that's what you're asking, there is power in bringing dead stuff back, but it has to be. I feel like it has to have never been respected when it was alive.
Right, because then everyone is in on the joke that it's so bad that it's funny again that you're making fun of. The meme itself becomes a joke in and of itself.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of layers to it, and then it can even go like 3 layers beyond where it's like people start hating that it's back ironically, and then people start making fun of the people that hate it ironic. It's hard to pin down.
Well, the layers thing that you bring up I find really interesting because all memes seem to have multiple layers where you need to kind of have some understanding of a few different things in order to get the joke, because you're always combining ideas into kind of one super idea.
Okay, yeah.
And if you don't get one of the layers, then it kind of falls flat.
Yeah, I usually don't try and do too many meme plus meme equals meme. Grandayy does a lot of that, where you take one existing meme, you add it together, and people have to understand both to get the full picture, really.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess that's why a lot of memes don't last too long these days too, because if a meme is out and people already start adding it to another existing meme for it to be funny, then it's pretty much can't stand on its own. If that makes sense, I feel like that's why a lot of memes these days literally have a 2 or 3 day shelf life before they're decomposing at the bottom of the. Yeah.
So what do you think about the future for yourself? Just continue to make these memes. Hope that the channel continues to grow. Like, what is the plan for Dolan Dark?
It is hard to. I don't know, because we all know YouTube is volatile, and then there's the whole Europe banning memes thing that's going on at the moment and stuff. It's like
that makes a difference, doesn't it?
It could do. It could mean absolutely nothing, but you never know. But literally at the moment it's just planning, because I know, as you know, memes are always going to be around no matter what. They're always gonna, if something's popular, there's gonna be a meme of it. So I guess the hope is that I can just continue to do what I do and make stuff around current trends or what I want. And, you know, it's, in theory, it should just be an endless supply. You know, there shouldn't be any, until I'm like, what the hell are the kids doing these days? You know, that's when I got to get out of it.
Yeah, that'll be funny. You know, when memes get too weird for Dolan Dark, then that's going to be an interesting day.
It's like that Simpsons quote. I think it's Simpsons. Like, are the kids wrong? Like, am I wrong? No, it's the kids. You know, like,
yeah.
I'll stop blaming the audience.
When Dolan Dark ages out of the meme creation,
right?
He's just too out of touch.
I honestly can't look like 3 years in the future because I don't know. Like, I just go with the flow, and I probably need to try and do more avenues just because, you know, my revenue source is pretty much essentially just YouTube, a little bit from merchandise, but like, you know, if YouTube goes belly up, I'm just kind of like dead in the water sort of thing. So I guess that's something for me to focus on in the future. But at the moment, I'm just kind of, you know, going with it.
Yeah, is Patreon a thing that you've considered or do?
I did consider that way back when the adpocalypse thing was happening, when like no videos were getting monetized. You know, when I was just like, okay, I should be getting this amount of money. Why am I getting 1/100th of what I should be getting, sort of thing. I did consider at one point, but I don't know. I just felt like I would need to be putting in the effort. I would feel bad if I wasn't putting my 100% in. If people were literally giving me money, I don't know. I felt like it could create like a pressure on me and stress, and I didn't feel proud enough of my content to receive money for, essentially.
It put too much pressure on you creatively to feel beholden to your patrons.
Yeah, so I would want to uphold my whatever I promised my Patreons, which would probably be like at least one project a video. So that already puts a time frame on me, and then I obviously wouldn't want to disappoint them. I don't know. I just felt like I wouldn't want to make one and then not uphold my end of the bargain. And I don't know. I just felt like my content didn't warrant a Patreon, really.
It's like having shareholders in a way, isn't it? Where like investors, and you have this responsibility, you know, like that they put this money in and they've got to profit in some way, and maybe you're doing it right and maybe you aren't, maybe you're not sure. Yeah. Like, that's got to be weird.
Yeah, and you're having a board meeting about Bongo Cat.
Right. Well, by the time this podcast comes out, people will be like, "Oh God, Bongo Cat."
I know, dude. That was exactly what I was thinking before we started recording. I was like, I can't even mention any memes because they're going to be so dead by the time the podcast launches. But look, this was awesome. We're going to bring Grandayy in now, and then we're going to bring you back, and we'll all talk together. How does that sound?
Oh, cool.
Cool?
Sounds good. Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. This episode of The Create Unknown is sponsored by Brilliant.org. Matt, so you and I actually just got back from Vienna, of all places.
Yeah, I gained 4 or 5 pounds of schnitzel and beer.
So, look, the reason that we were in Vienna is actually I spoke at TEDx, and while I was there, the most amazing thing for me, other than the schnitzel, was getting to meet and watch the talks of the other 20 people that were involved in the event. But one thing I wanted to mention was this guy who's working on an algorithm that will park a robot car autonomously that's designed after a worm brain.
So the worm brain is parking a car.
Sort of. They mapped this worm's brain, the synapses and everything, actually a long time ago, but they're now using this worm's brain, which is a very, very simple brain, to figure out a simple way to create an algorithm that could do something as advanced as like perfectly parking a car for a robot. And what's amazing about this is that, you know, we're partnering with Brilliant.org, and they literally have a course on learning in the brain that is about building an artificial learning algorithm, which...
Oh, specifically on that.
Yeah. One of the many reasons I wanted to partner with Brilliant for this podcast is that, you know, I get like a cursory glance at certain topics like artificial intelligence, artificial learning algorithms, but I don't know that much about it. But you can just go to Brilliant.org and do their course, and all of a sudden you are interacting with a deep level of understanding of these concepts.
Yeah, and at this point in my life, I'm not going to career shift into parking cars with animal brains. But I absolutely want to talk to the people who do those things. And I want to do more than say, like somebody says that, brings it up, be like, oh my God, that's bonkers. I want to be like, oh yeah, I get this. Like, let's talk for a minute instead of me standing there, drooling as somebody else throws knowledge at my face.
Well, yeah, and not only that, but the only way you can really talk to other people about this stuff is if you have a deep enough sense of understanding that you're able to teach it. That's really kind of like the highest level of understanding a thing, is if you can then explain it to somebody else. So
yeah, I'm taking a look now, and I see they start off with learning in the brain. And, I'm pretty comfortable with the basics of how that happens. But I scroll down and look at some of these. Like, there's a module called backpropagation. I cannot tell you right now what that is. And so I would be able to go through this entire curated thing here. I feel like I'd be able to come out in a position to have a pretty good conversation with that guy.
yeah, definitely, because I'm brilliant. You're not just like reading something and hoping that you understand it. You're actually interacting with guided problems, with explanations, with interactive quizzes. So it's really hands-on, and you really get a sense of what's going on. It's not just blanket memorization. It's really fundamentally understanding these things. So if that's something that you're interested in, well, we have the greatest offer for you. Just go to brilliant.org/thecreateunknown. The first 200 people that go to that link will get 20% off the annual premium subscription. But you have to go to brilliant.org/thecreateunknown. And who is not interested in worm brains and robots? I can't think of a single person. That's brilliant.org/thecreateunknown. And all right, back to the show. Chapter 2, Grandayy.
So look, man, you have just seen a meteoric rise in popularity this year. When I first started following you on Twitter, I think you had maybe a quarter of the followers that you have today. So you're just getting ridiculously popular so fast. What has that been like for you?
I think, yes, especially on Twitter and Instagram mainly. Like, it's been a very sudden growth this year mainly. On YouTube, it's probably been a bit longer, like since last year. Actually, since late 2016, I remember. Like, just when I started Grandayy, immediately with the We Are #1 memes at first. Like, immediately the channel started blowing up from that.
And when was that? When did you first started making video memes?
That's it. Late 2016, I believe. November, December 2016.
Well, that is a ridiculously fast growth.
Yeah,
so,
that's
so,
crazy.
So you upload, and what was your first video? And right away, you got attention for it?
Yeah, basically within like a week. The YouTube...
That is insane.
Yeah, I'm going to interrupt real fast because every time we talk to anybody, they have this story that's like, well, I started at 6 years old working 18 hours a day on this thing, and it slowly built into a career, and then I got super lucky, and it just grew and grew. And
my friends at Threadbanger spent 7 years working on their channel before they got to 1 million subscribers.
You're like,
right?
Yeah, it took me a week.
And you're like, yeah, a week. I did one thing, and I'm instantly popular.
I've had food poisoning for longer than it's taken you.
To be honest, I don't know if you know, but I have a notebook channel as well, which I started in 2011. That's my other channel. It was my first channel where I just made Minecraft notebook songs. So
and how did that do? Was that popular?
Yes, but that took much longer. So I think I got 100k subs on that 2014 or 2015, and I started in 2011. So that one was more like a hobby, though. When I started on that one, I was never like focusing on it to make it my career on it or anything like that.
So were you working a full-time job and then making the Minecraft note block videos in your spare time?
I was a student, a medical student. Actually, I started it before starting my course in medicine. I was like 16 years old, I think.
Wait, so you are an actual doctor?
Yes, that's actually true.
Oh, so in the name, this is a legitimate professional title.
Yep, I'm actually a doctor.
This just gets more and more fascinating.
This is the coolest thing in the world.
So, okay, wait. So you're an actual doctor. You graduated med school. Did you start practicing medicine and making the YouTube videos in your free time?
No, so when I graduated just last year, almost a year ago, a bit less, I basically chose to work full time on Grandayy instead of working as a doctor.
Oh my gosh.
As ridiculous as that may
I
sound.
suppose you have a viable career to fall back on.
Yes. Basically.
Yeah, I guess if the meme thing doesn't work out, you can go back to being a doctor. Like,
yeah,
this is
you can
unbelievable.
slum it as a medical professional.
I actually only have like 3 years chance because after the degree there are 2 years of a foundation program, they're called, which you need to do before you get the official warrant.
Oh, so is that like a residency in the US?
Yes, I think it's called residency. So basically I would need to do that as well. I haven't done that
And if
yet.
you don't do that, then your degree doesn't mean anything anymore?
I think so. I'm not sure because like nobody does that. Pretty much nobody gets the degree. And
Wait. So you're saying nobody stops being a doctor to make memes full time?
Yeah, I think that has never happened in the history of the world.
What practice area would you be interested in? Like, what would your specialty be?
A lot of people ask me that. Like, I'm honestly not sure yet. I would have to work, like, to spend months working on different specialties for me to get a better picture, I think.
And that would happen during that 2-year program, right? Would you pop from department to department?
Every 3 months, you'd be in a different, firm.
And is this something that you're considering doing, or are you full steam ahead on doing memes?
I mean, it's always a plan B, but definitely memes are the priority for me. Like, I prefer that a lot more.
That's incredible. I had no idea, and this just got so much more interesting than I ever imagined it was going to be. So you've been doing YouTube for a long time, though. I mean, 2011, that is back in the day. That's much longer than I thought. But
I actually uploaded my first video in 2007, I believe. It was
wow!
It was a RuneScape music video, of course.
A RuneScape music video?
Yes, it's still up. If you want to check it out, it's extremely low quality and very bad, but it's there.
That must have been like the 12th video on YouTube.
Yeah, that's a long time ago. So wow. So you've been interested in this from day one, pretty much, this idea of making videos and uploading them to the internet.
The idea of just creating stuff, I think it's always been, especially when Minecraft came out. Like, I also had a texture pack, multiple texture packs actually that I made. And like my node block word, I've always liked to share random stuff I come up with, on the internet.
And when did that fascination with just creating and sharing, when did that kind of pivot into doing memes? Was there an inspiration specifically for you? Was there like a model for making memes that you said, hey, I could do this too?
I always loved memes. I remember back in when I was a teenager, like 13 years old, I used to, I always liked memes. I remember I used to visit cheeseburger.com, I think it was memebase.com, if you guys know it. And I used to watch a few YouTube meme videos as well. And sometimes I used to incorporate a bit of memes in my Minecraft videos as well, even though they were more serious node-block songs. Like some of my most popular node-block videos have a bit of memes in them as well. And then I think when We Are Number One came out, I just had a few ideas. I remember there was a channel, Mr. Mango Head, that used to upload weird edits with We Are Number One. So that was partly an inspiration as well. And I just decided to upload a few. And like the YouTube algorithm, We Are Number One was so big at that time that the algorithm immediately picked out the videos, I think, and just started recommending them. And they were on Reddit as well. Like, it was a big thing at the time.
Yeah, so we just spoke with Dolan Dark, and he said something super interesting to me, which was a type of meme he referred to as meme plus meme equals meme. And that seems to be something that you are really excellent at, where you take something that's already a meme or is becoming a meme and then you remix it into some other meme, and now all of a sudden you have this kind of Voltron super meme.
1 + 1 = 3.
Yeah, 1 + 1 = 3. It's the multiplier effect.
Some people hate that as well, but ultimately it seems that most people love it when that happens.
What is the hate like? So you get negative comments for doing these types of 1 + 1 = 3 memes?
Yes, I mean, to be honest, most of them are more jokes and trolls, I imagine, than actual hate, but quite a lot of people criticize that as well. Like even PewDiePie has jokingly criticized it as well. The meme plus meme equals meme thing.
So how do you take that negativity? Do you just does it roll off your back because these people aren't taking it so seriously? They're just kind of in on the joke and trolling?
Yeah, basically, I think most comments like that are at least partly joking. And I just take it video by video. Like if I make a video that many people love and other people also hate, but I mean, if the majority of people love it, I think that's pretty good. Like there are some videos that can get more hate than others, for example, and if that happens, I'll see what's wrong. Like maybe I stop doing that type of video, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there seems to be, I've noticed kind of this self-deprecating, apologetic almost tone a lot when you release these memes where you're almost like apologizing for them.
Yeah.
So what's that all about? Do you feel like kind of like, hey guys, I know this is dumb, or I know that you've already seen like 20 memes about this topic, but you know, I thought this was a funnier version of it.
Yeah, it's more of a meme, to be honest. Like I usually say something like "I'm sorry" or something like that if it's a really weird meme. But usually those are actually loved more, so it's more of a joke. Like this meme is so weird that I apologize, even though I know you're gonna love it. Like, you know, like it's so weird that you're gonna love it.
I'm sorry for making your day awesome.
So, do you get any pressure from friends and family at all for not pursuing your medical career and doing memes instead?
No, thankfully, like everyone is really supportive. My parents are totally okay with it. Like, I think they would prefer if I was a doctor instead of a meme lord, you know, like, and they have given me advice to at least do the foundation program, for example. But ultimately, they're very supportive still and proud. And my friends, funnily enough, most of my doctor friends actually are the opposite. Like, they actually encourage me to make memes instead of being a doctor.
Well, I think that, you know, Lord is a much better title than doctor. So,
Yes.
so you know, meme Lord is, I think,
I
it's a
agree.
higher honor.
Being a meme lord is a higher calling
I
to serve
agree.
humanity. But you know what? You're like the Maltese Ken Jeong, because he was a doctor, wasn't he?
Kim Jong.
Oh,
Ken
right.
Jeong was a doctor, and he left to do. I don't know if he started a stand-up, but you know, a few years later, he's Mr. Chow.
Right. He did leave his medical profession to become an entertainer much later in life, though, than
He was
you.
like 42 or something, wasn't
Yeah,
he?
it sounds like you figured this out right away, that you can make a lot of people happy every single day with what you're doing. And I think that the results are clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
So one question that I have about your process is, you know, when do you know when a meme is going to kind of take off? It seems like you have this ability to see that something is bubbling and then kind of pick it up out of the chaos of the internet and turn it into this big thing. What is that like for you?
I don't know. To be honest, I don't think I have that power. Like in most cases, I have no idea whether a meme is gonna be big or not. Like usually, I will start realizing that when the meme has already become big. You know, like I see it being spread a lot, and everyone is making their versions of it. At that point, I think it's pretty clear that this meme is gonna become very big.
And what was an example of like your favorite meme that you created? Like you did the first one and then you couldn't believe how many iterations there were afterwards.
I don't think there are any, to be honest, where I did the very first version, and like I have never created a meme from nothing.
So basically what you're doing is you're coming in, you're seeing what people are already kind of laughing at, and then you turn it into kind of like a more a bigger, just funnier version of it.
Basically, like I don't want to take credit for like making a meme big or anything. Most of the time, like I just participate in making some versions of a particular meme, you know.
That has happened for so long, though. Like this is a slight switch, but think how many products were developed. Almost always, the person who invents a product does not succeed with it.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is the same sort of process where the first guy or the first company to enter a market totally fails. Like they have to put so much into it, and they don't know how people are going to respond. And maybe they kind of have it right, but maybe it needs to be tweaked. But yeah, the first people, if you think about electronics, stuff like that, the brands that were around and really big on like even flat screen TVs or DVD players or things like that. Computers is huge, right? Where you think of who started it, and like IBM started with computers, and they don't even make computers anymore. It's kind of the same with memes from talking to you guys, where the first person to kind of point out that something is funny, that's not really enough. And it takes this amazing skill and sense of what people are going to value and laugh at and love and what's going to resonate with them to totally just like crank it up to another level that's going to go on your channel and get like 12 million views.
Yes, definitely. Usually the very first person who makes something with a meme, like with a new meme, is usually a very small person who doesn't get too much recognition. Like it's the meme itself that actually gets the recognition. I remember reading a tweet by the first ever guy to share the spaghetti meme, the somebody touched my spaghetti. And he was actually angry at PewDiePie because like PewDiePie kind of made that meme big. And he's like, I shared it for the first time. And he was angry, I remember.
He must have had like timestamp proof on Twitter, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Imagine going through life just being like, by the way, I was the first guy to make this joke. Just insisting that matters.
Yeah. The first guy to share somebody touched my spaghetti meme.
But you say that you're not maybe not creating the first joke, you're remixing ideas essentially, but the way that you've been able to do it has obviously been incredibly successful in a very short period of time because of the growth is undeniable. So clearly, like, you're working really hard on these. How long does it take you to make some of these memes?
Yeah, so it really depends a lot on which meme we're talking about. So some shitposts are very quick, just quick edits, for example. But other ones, especially the more musical memes, can take a lot of time.
Like the GameCube,
yes.
boot screen memes. Like, how long did those take? Because you have to create the music, you have to do all of that animation.
The music part of the GameCube memes usually isn't too long because I'm so used to it now. But the animation, they're not actually animated. The way I do it, like, I'm not good with 3D animation or anything, so I just cut the small pieces of from the actual GameCube video. Like I cut a 3x1 rectangle, for example, and I keep pasting them in a straight line and stuff. Like that actually takes a lot of time to mask everything and to get the trail looking as perfectly as I can. For the GameCube memes, I can easily take, 5 hours or more, for example, just for one GameCube meme.
And how do you make the music? What do you use?
I've always used FL Studio for music. So basically, I just change the pitch and cut the sound samples that I need, and maybe add some compression or stuff like that. But otherwise, I change the notes and stuff by ear, because ever since I started making notebook songs, it's become quite easy for me to just hear a song and put the notes as they are in the original song.
So, and how do you think about like the monetization aspect of this? I mean, obviously you're able to do this full time. There's no monetization on Twitter or Instagram. So are you usually using those to kind of point people to your YouTube channel?
With memes, I've learned that I think it's just better to put your memes as well on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook than just put them on YouTube and that's it. Like, YouTube isn't really impacted if you do that, so why not? Sure, the videos aren't actually monetized on Twitter, etc., but ultimately it's still better to grow on there as well than to just be on YouTube. For example, my Instagram is growing faster than my YouTube pretty much right now. And why shouldn't I post them there as well, even if I make no money off them, you know? A fan base is always important, I think, even if you're not making money off of it.
You know, Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, this is a thing that he just pounds home constantly, that give your best stuff away for free. This is going to benefit you the most in the long run by, like, your audience is going to love it. It's going to grow that audience. You know, whether it's something that gets a certain amount of revenue, whatever, he's saying it's going to be a lot better for you down the line if you just take your best stuff and give it to people. And that's exactly what you just explained.
And especially with memes, like, they're going to be reposted for sure on Instagram and Twitter. If I don't do it myself, other meme channels will get all the credit, you know? So might as well do it myself.
And do you have a problem with people stealing your memes? I mean, I know that you watermark them, but at the end of the day, are you just happy that more people see it?
Basically, I used to have a problem when I was smaller, but you start to learn that ultimately the meme reposts are gonna happen. Like, they're just gonna happen for sure, and they don't actually hurt you directly. Like, if there's a meme, sure, if someone reposts your meme and gets 100,000 likes, you feel a bit bad. But is it really hurting you? Especially if the guys actually credit you, or people in the comments actually like mention that this was made by Grandayy, for example. So ultimately, it actually helps you just a tiny little bit and doesn't hurt you. So yeah, I'm pretty much okay with it, especially if they credit me. That would be nice.
Yeah, and it seems like having a persona as a meme lord is a really unique and new thing. There aren't that many people who kind of are doing what you're doing in a way where you're building up sort of a following, but also kind of a brand. I mean, I don't want it to get too corporate here talking about memeing, but it really is kind of a brand. I mean, you're putting your name on it. You're becoming well known for doing a certain type of memeing. Yeah. And you're really building a clear brand around memes, which is fascinating.
Yeah, to jump on this, an example of what Kevin is saying is that, we're talking to Dolan Dark, and he said specifically that thing about you combining two memes into one for a certain effect. And that was pretty much him recognizing that you've got a specific brand of, a way of doing this. You have a brand that works in a different way than his does. And ultimately, the way people respond and what they think of both of you as meme lords, that's pretty much the same. But the way you're doing this stuff is very different. And he recognized that in you. We recognized it when we looked at both of you. And I think the whole community does too.
Well, because also
yeah.
It's like memeing for most of the internet history has been such an anonymous thing where it's just like, here's this meme. I don't know who made it, but whatever.
Who did this?
And
who did this?
Who did this?
Laughing,
yeah, exactly.
With laughter.
Right. Who did this? But now it's like, well, I know who did this, and I can talk to who did this on a podcast, and that is so new to me.
Yes.
New meme. New meme. Who dis?
Who dis? So what does it feel like to be kind of like a new type of content creator?
Yes, it's a bit weird. Like, there aren't many big meme names, like meme makers. It's the big accounts right now are usually the meme reposters, like on Instagram especially, there are many. But actually OC meme creators, I think the fact that Dolan and I especially became so big, it has inspired a lot of new meme creators that, like, you see them, there are many more now, even smaller ones than there were like a year ago or 2 years ago. I think it's a good thing, obviously, if there are meme creators instead of just meme reposters. And ultimately, I think people are enjoying that as well, are following these OC meme creators more than before.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's a new thing that's just going to continue to grow. Don't you think so? We're going to see more and more persona-based
full-time memers, and I welcome it. I mean, I think it's so funny. It's the most entertaining thing to me, so much more so than anything that you'll see, you know, certainly on TV or in movies, but even just on YouTube in general, where, you know, when I first started on YouTube, and you had a lot of sketch comedy, you had a lot of these like improv groups doing sketches, and, you know, you had the Lonely Island and Good Neighbor stuff and Cream and Picnic Face. But all of that stuff just kind of takes a lot of time. And what you're able to do in such a short period of time, where something becomes a meme overnight and you're already making fun of it the next day, it's just such a continually entertaining thing that I don't know if it gets any better, because it's so fresh constantly. What do you think about that?
Yes, I think memes are like a new medium still that is growing, and I think will grow much more in the future. We can't really like foresee where the memes will go, but I think they are going to keep growing, and more meme creators will probably grow as well.
Yeah, and I think people like you and Dolan Dark are largely responsible for what's to come. So yeah, I mean, it's your fault. It's all your fault.
Yeah, we're leaders of the meme force after all. Now we have to lead the memes.
That's right. I mean, you have the same title of Lord General, is that right?
Yes. Mhm.
Yeah, so now you need to start choosing like lieutenants and majors. And...
Yeah, there should be a whole administration with this.
Right.
Yeah, basically we announced a few in a video. Are you interested in joining the meme force as well?
I don't know if I'm qualified. I'm certainly a fan, though.
I would quit my job in a second to join the meme force.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll think of something then.
I mean, I did vote for you. You know, that is...
Thank you. I
Everybody
appreciate
knows.
So you voted for him.
I voted for Grandayy, yeah. It's in his video.
That was convenient not to tell
he
Dolan.
endorsed me. Yes.
Yeah, he happened not to tell Dolan that he'd voted for you.
And maybe we'll bring him back in. We'll talk about it.
I think you have to confess that when he comes back.
His endorsement was public though. It's in my 1 million special video.
That's right.
So what do you think the future is for your channel? I mean, obviously you're just growing. You're holding off on pursuing medicine for now. It sounds like you're happy where you are. What do you think about like the next couple of years for you?
Yeah, if I can just continue making memes, like that's what I really want. If I can continue doing this, I'll just keep making memes basically for as long as it remains viable. Like
this is amazing. Like, it's just the coolest thing to hear, isn't it? Yeah, it's like talking to like a pro athlete who just loves playing the game. And like, I just want to wake up every day and play football. And do that as long as I can possibly.
But you don't have to worry about like a devastating knee injury when you're just making memes. So
you make memes until
carpal tunnel, yeah, maybe.
Carpal tunnel just winds your career down.
Yeah, that's what you'll have to worry about. Well, listen, it was awesome to talk to you, but stick around because we're going to bring Dolan Dark back and we're going to all have a big meme lord party.
Okay, talk to you soon.
Finally, it's time. Grandayy and Dolan Dark enter the Create Unknown. Together. Chapter 3, The Meme Lord Summit.
All right, so we have Grandayy and Dolan Dark making internet history right now.
Together,
talking for the very first time. So,
a lot of pressure.
it is, and it's like Paul McCartney and Stevie Wonder and like Ebony and Ivory, like bringing two great artists together for the first time.
This is going down in history.
So, the first thing I wanted to ask you guys is if there was ever a time where one of you put out a meme and then the other one decided, well, you know, Dolan already did this joke, so I'm not going to now, or vice versa.
Yeah, kind of. Usually if there's a meme like that is popping up, we can sometimes we even discuss what we're gonna do with it to avoid doing the same thing.
Oh, so you guys communicate then?
Oh yeah,
Yes,
yeah. So we talk quite a lot. So like, if there's a popular meme, like you said, we'll never put a meme out, and then that will discourage us from putting our own one out. Normally, if we're both planning to do the same like meme template as you will. We'll normally like plan it so we release it at the exact same time just to mess with people a little bit.
Oh yeah, there are a bunch of videos that are saying that you two are the same person.
I mean, we could be.
Maybe.
I'm just really good at accents.
Have you ever heard us talking at the exact same time?
No, I don't think so. This is like when there was the rumor that Michael and Janet Jackson were the same person.
vsauce, Michael?
I don't remember.
You don't remember that? Yeah, I'm way too old. But yeah, that was a thing where I think in like the early 90s people
I'm
would say
assuming that's
Michael.
not vsauce, Michael and Janet Jackson.
Yeah, it was Michael Stevens and Janet Jackson were the same person.
Kevin's like, oh yeah, I remember when people thought George Washington and Thomas Jefferson were the same person.
Yeah, I'm actually 300 years old. But when did you guys start talking regularly? Because, you know, we were just talking with Grandayy about how recently he has blown up onto the scene. So when was it that you guys first kind of started talking to each other?
Yeah, and who reached out to who first?
I think it was Dolan, right?
I think so.
Oh, it was over a year ago. That's what I remember. I think we started talking regularly because of the apocalypse, remember?
The worst things brought us together.
Basically, like, thanks to the apocalypse, like we had to discuss what is causing videos to get demonetized and stuff. And I think that's how it started.
Oh, so you guys were kind of figuring out together what it was that was causing your videos to get demonetized and like what you could do about it?
Meme channels were affected a lot by that, like in April and May of last year.
Basically, we were brought together by complaining about how shit YouTube was.
Yeah, basically.
I think when we first got in contact, we were either at around the same subscribers or I might have even been ahead of him.
I think so, yeah.
Because we've traded, like, he's passed me before and then I passed him again, but then now he's finally quite a few, I think he's 200,000 ahead of me or something, give or take. I don't know.
I think, yeah, more than
Oh,
flexing.
That's it.
get it right.
I love the subtext in that. Just by the way, since we're counting.
Yeah, we are counting. What is the exact number? No, but it sounds like you guys work well to kind of build a community between just the two of you to bring more attention to both.
I guess like we've got like the meta memes and stuff. You mean like sort of like joining alliances and all that?
Yeah, I mean you did the whole campaign to vote, you know, for
right,
like
yeah,
that sort of thing.
Yeah, to be honest, most of that stuff, like, we don't actually plan it out.
We do, but we don't. It's more like spur of the moment sort of thing. We'll be like, hey, this could be a good idea.
The election thing was just my idea, for example, but then once it happened,
Oh yeah,
it became a good idea to make videos, each of us, about it and stuff.
so he made the vote, you know, the big vote for Grandayy. So I was like, hang on, I could probably spin my own thing. Like, I don't want to lose this poll, you know, I'm going to make my own video about it. Like, there was no pre-decision to make, you know, to make a video. You know, there wasn't a huge big plan to do like so-and-so videos about this thing. It just kind of happens. I mean, you know how fast the memes move. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens mostly.
Yeah, you probably wouldn't be able to plan it effectively anyway, could you?
Oh no, because we ended up tying as well. So we had like, we kind of talked about like, if you win, what are you going to do? If I win, what are we going to do? If we tie, what are we going to do? Like, not that's going to happen, but you know, yeah, it was.
And then it did.
There's no big plan really. We don't like overanalyze stuff. You can't really overanalyze memes because then they kind of lose their magic. You know, if you're trying to analyze a meme, then you don't really get it in the first place. If that makes sense. I don't know.
You know, I've always heard that about comedy in general, that like once you start kind of trying to overanalyze it, then like you said, the magic is gone. And I don't know, it's just not fun anymore.
Yeah, I agree as well.
But I think what you guys are doing, to me, because this is just the first parallel I think of, is a lot like the Seattle rock scene in like the grunge era, which was really impactful for me when I grew up. But it was like, you know, Nirvana first broke onto the scene, and then all of a sudden Pearl Jam came in, and before you know it, like a scene was kind of developed around this, which replaced what came before it, which was like glam metal and hair metal before it. So
Yeah.
but I think that you guys kind of playing off each other and doing stuff together and collaborating, even if it's just, which meme are you going to work on, sort of builds a culture between the two of you
Yeah.
for what you're doing. That's palpable.
Yeah, it's become a meme of its own, almost like the Dolan and the Grandayy meme. In fact, I think we first started agreeing to upload at the same time and stuff because it was already a meme. I think people were already commenting that we're the same person, for example.
Yeah, the audience kind of takes it and runs with it, and you can kind of like build on that sort of thing.
And what's an example of a meme that just won't go away? Like, I think of Shrek first and foremost.
Okay.
Like, how did Shrek become such a meme, and why won't, you throw a neck beard on him, you put a fedora on the top of his head, like, no matter what, it's just funny. It's just always funny. I don't know why. Why is that inexhaustibly funny?
It definitely must be because like literally everyone has seen Shrek, right, around like this age range, so they've got like they can appeal to a mass audience, and then it's just the fact that it's Shrek, like a Scottish ogre that's bright green, like it writes itself. Like
it's kind of like Mario and Waluigi as well. Just like Shrek, they probably remain kind of memey for almost forever.
Yeah, it's going to be a long time before they go out of style.
Everyone knows who they are. It's a bit of nostalgia as well.
Yeah, I mean, you say memes that won't go away. A few people want vsauce Michael to go away because, like, I stopped. Like, I only upload the. It might be once a month. I might do a vsauce one. So you still get the occasional one that says like vsauce is the meme is dead, and it's just like no, he's eternal. Like there's no killing him.
It's true. Michael's another eternal meme.
Okay, so I'm going to say right now that obviously we just talked about how overanalyzing memes is a bad thing to do and it makes it lose its magic.
Yeah, but we should overanalyze
a meme because I still find it interesting. Because overanalyzing is what I love to do, obviously. Yeah. Like that's what I do on vsauce too. That's just what I do in my personal time. I love thinking about things way too much. So let's just think about this way too much. Why is Michael an eternal meme? In your estimation?
I think Dolan is more qualified for this question.
I don't know. It's just like I've said before. Like you can't really explain memes. Sometimes they just kind of have their own magic. I think it's because most like say Bongo Cat for example will probably be a few more days left in it, and it's gonna be people will be sick of it.
By the time this podcast comes out, it will be in its grave by then.
I think it's like because all the memes lately, the ones that last a few days, they come out and they are immediately like saturated everywhere. You log on to the internet one day and you're like, what the fuck is Bongo Cat? Like it's everywhere. Whilst with like Michael, I feel like because it was a gradual sort of thing. There was no like suddenly Michael's face is everywhere you look. It was more like, okay, someone made a meme about Michael, I'll make a meme about Michael, and like it was just a kind of like a gradual build up, and then I guess it's just you can use so many different videos. I originally when I made the vsauce memes, I would just use "Hey vsauce Michael here" as the punchline, but then you could do you could actually take specific videos and sayings to make it work with the video. I don't know. It's just I guess there's just so much content to it, and like there's only a few people who are actually sick of him. Yeah, I guess my answer would be that he was never oversaturated, except on my channel. Yeah.
I think also, like, everyone loves Michael. Like, can you find just one person who dislikes Michael? Like, he's so lovable that no one is gonna get tired of him, like, and memes about him.
Right. I mean, I agree. I don't see why you would be mad about him ever. So yeah, there is that kind of general positivity around him, I guess, and general acceptance. Yeah.
Who's going to get angry seeing SpongeBob and just be like, you know what, 15 years of this sponge is too much. Now I'm mad about it. I don't see that happening. Nobody's mad at Mario.
Right. Yeah, there are no enemies. Vsauce doesn't have any enemies.
Not really, no.
No.
Not yet.
Yeah,
no.
not yet.
Not yet. I know, maybe.
Veritasium, maybe.
Maybe someday.
Yeah,
someday.
we'll turn on him next.
We were talking last night about like what you guys thought of each other's memes, and we wanted to know which meme of the others you thought was best.
Oh, that's a good one. I'm terrible at picking favorites.
It's very difficult.
Well, it doesn't
I'll
have to be
have to-
the number one
I'll-
favorite. It can just be
I'll
like
have
top
to-
5.
I'll have to look at Granday's channel to.
I think one meme I can remember right now is from like very old ago, very long ago. Probably the Keemstar movie meme, I remember, and I
right.
love that one.
Yeah, that was a big project I put together on the main channel.
It's like a trailer about a Keemstar movie. And also the Apple MLG video was also really good, I think.
Which one was that?
You forgot. That was about the iPhone.
Oh, iPhone
Probably
XD.
like 2 years ago, I think. iPhone XD is another good one, but no, I'm referring to
Apple gets
a
wrecked.
previous one. Yeah, that one.
It's old.
Apple gets wrecked.
What,
Yeah, these
was-
these are old as well, so it's kind of nostalgic.
what
That's
was
part
the
of the
Apple
reason.
gets wrecked? What did that involve?
It was.
You should watch it.
It was. Yeah, you could watch it. It was. You know,
MLG,
I mentioned
basically.
montage parodies. It was back in that era. So like flashing lights, lots of fast stuff.
Air horns?
Air horns. I don't think I used air horns actually.
Maybe not.
For me, I don't know. Grandayy does a lot more musical related memes than me, so I always like those ones. I liked one of his Donald, because you did a few Donald Trump ones.
I have
Donald
a
Trump,
few Donald Trump
China.
videos.
I can't remember which one it
Just
was.
Destin.
There was one that got stuck in my head so much that when I heard the original song, I could just all I could hear was Donald Trump saying China, 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 China.
It was a Daft Punk, maybe.
Oh,
Like
probably.
faster, but
Yeah, and then there was I think
What's-
there's
what's
a big Shuck meme as well. If you ever saw that one.
Oh,
The
Big
skinny-
Shaq.
You know of Big
like,
Shaq?
Man Don't Dance or whatever. What is it?
Yeah, man.
Man's Not Hot. But
Man's
that
Not
was
Hot.
the big meme.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
last
Man's
year.
Not Hot.
That was
yeah.
literally one of the longest living memes for a while.
True.
It lasted like 3 or 4 months, which is like 20 years in meme time.
Yeah, that's an eternity.
Well, and this was
Yeah.
just because that song was so weird. So he was just making sounds, right? Like pop, pop,
Yeah.
chip, chip,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah.
Scooby Pop. And then the lyrics are hilarious as well. Yeah.
Like the chorus was just those sounds, true, but the lyrics.
It just had so much substance to it, I guess.
And then they released the music video, and he continued like embracing the meme. I think that's why it lived for much longer than usual.
I noticed that with his subsequent releases, it seems like they're just as kind of purposefully, I don't want to say dumb, but
Yeah, definitely.
Okay,
Like that's
okay.
his character.
right.
Like Big Shaq is actually one of his many characters, that his comedic character. So his whole point is comedy.
Yeah, it was like satire. Like he was never a
Yeah,
serious
it's just.
rapper.
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
But I think, I think that's what contributed to it getting big was people didn't realize it was an act. You know, they think this guy's just going.
Yes, that's true.
This guy's just going insane.
Most of the time, when people make something satirical like that and they're not very well known, like people will think they're actually serious, and that might help it actually become a bigger meme.
Yeah, I thought it was serious. So that makes me like
Yeah.
him so much more now,
Exactly,
though,
it's
that
great.
it is a joke because it's so funny.
No, it was totally satire.
So, I mean, ultimately, this podcast is about improving lives. It's I can't even say that without laughing.
I wasn't sure where you were going with
That's
that.
right. About fostering creative development and just making the world a better place. So what advice would both of you give to an aspiring 9-year-old meme lord? This little tyke. This little tyke. this little fourth
I'd hope-
grader who wants to be a meme lord when he gets older.
I hope 9-year-olds aren't watching my stuff.
Oh, they definitely are. You know that they are.
But let's say they're a bit older. But anybody who wants to be like, yeah, I can make funny stuff. My friends say I'm funny. You know, I have a few digital skills. Like, if they want to get into memeing, how do you do this? What do you say to those people?
It doesn't require too much, to be honest. Like, as long as As long as you know how to do basic video editing, you can pretty much start making memes.
There's definitely a lot of luck involved too. It's like
Yes, as well.
quantity, luck, and I guess literally being funny, which you can't really like force, right? Like I mean, I can't even consider myself funny, but other people think it's funny, so it must be funny. If you get lots of laughs from people, then you probably will get lots of laughs from the rest of the internet, sort of thing.
But the quantity's a big thing, isn't it? Just keep going.
Quantity is a big thing for YouTube. Literally just consistency too. Like, not so much meme makers, but everyone I know from like a year or two ago that did YouTube, like maybe commentaries or whatever other content, vlogs, the ones that consistently, no matter how low their views were, consistently put out stuff like once a week, or they stuck to a schedule. They're all like above 100,000 subscribers now. They made it. It just took one big video to get the ball rolling. So I'd literally just say, just keep at it. It sounds generic as hell, but like I feel like it's the only way you can get anywhere.
Mhm.
You just need one big break and snowball effect.
True. Although, to be honest, also I've seen some people focusing too much on quantity.
Oh
like
no, yeah,
sometimes uploading multiple memes a day,
yeah.
which are barely funny.
Yeah, definitely a balance. Even then, like, because Grandayy uploads more than me. He's got a better work ethic than I do. But even when I upload if I upload too often, I don't know. I try not to upload for the sake of uploading. I still try and upload because I have a good idea. So that's why my upload schedule is kind of patchy, because sometimes I just have no ideas. Just a meme block, if you will.
Memer's block.
Memer's block.
How often do you
Yeah.
end up uploading then? How frequently? Once a week, twice a week?
I vary, but I'd say I'd average 3 or 4 a week. Maybe 3 would be safer, because I could do I might just have ideas for days, so I could do an upload every day for 4 days in a row, but then I might have nothing for 3 or 4 days.
Yeah, for me, it's like 3 or 4 times a week, I guess. I don't actually keep a schedule at all.
Oh no, yeah, I got no schedule either.
I'll just upload whenever. But for example, there's been quite a lot of times that I've worked on a meme for quite some time, but I just, after working on it for a while, I just can't see it being funny, so I just scrap it, for example. Like, it's better than to just upload every single thing you come up with. If you don't think it's good, I would say it's probably better not to upload it.
You can't pull something out of the archives really easily, can you? Because we were talking to Destin from Smarter Every Day, and he was telling us about how he would find something interesting, might do some film on it. And the example he used, he put it on a hard drive, and 3 years later found something to pair it with, so he could pull that back out, mash it up to the new thing, make it relevant, and have a great video. You can't do that with memes, right? When it's dead, it's like, digging up a corpse.
Very rarely. Yeah.
You can't exhume it.
If it's just a meme, you can't grab a meme from 3 years ago. Maybe you can if you make it a bit ironic.
A lot of memes, at least image memes, are always just like a reimagining of an existing meme. So I guess
True.
you could bring up something really old. Like the Bongo Cat thing is the same as this meme called The Trumpet Boy from 3 or 4 months ago, which was the same concept, but it was like a boy with a trumpet that people would make move around. So it's like a lot of memes are literally just recycling stuff.
Oh yeah, though, I have combined very old memes with fresh new memes, for example. I think that can work. But
there
not
is a
just
way,
old
but
memes on their own.
It's hard to explain.
And most of the time, it's partly ironic as well.
Yeah.
It's a bit complicated.
I've noticed that terrible animation, like low-grade animation or kind of obscure animation, is ripe for the picking when it comes to making memes. Why do you think that is? What is it about finding these really weird 3D animations or even 2D animations and memeing those that's so appealing?
Basically, the weirdness of it, I would say. The more weird something is, the more people will like share it. And
Which animation are you talking about? Like our videos themselves, or
Well, no, like for instance, I'm thinking of Johnny. I'm thinking of the
Oh, right.
Glab
Okay,
Glab.
got
It's
you.
like you guys are
God.
taking these just weird, obscure animations and then, remixing it with like a Lil Pump song or whatever, and all of a sudden it has 13 million views.
yeah, I think weird content and weird memes. Just everyone will love them.
yeah, there seems to be like the general sense of humor. Like a lot of people have these days with memes is like really surreal based, obscure. So I think that's what's letting all those kids animations like shine because they're so obscure that people actually like enjoy them to an extent, even if it's ironic. I don't know. Like the Eric Andre show, I mentioned that earlier. It's like that's blowing up a lot lately because it's been around for a while, but it didn't get any traction when it first came out. And like I think it's more popular this year than it has been, and there hasn't even been a new season in a few years, just because everyone is. I guess that's just what the sense of humor people have these days is. I don't know.
I see on Facebook the meme where he shoots Hannibal Buress, and it's why would you do that kind of thing.
The image memes too, yeah.
Yeah, like that. The weird thing there is how many people I see share that who I know have never watched this show.
Yeah.
And they couldn't tell me who Eric Andre or Hannibal Buress are. But they see the scenario depicted in it.
Yeah.
And they can fit in their political thing or, it's like, why would millennials do this and this and that? They're using this meme and they have no clue what this meme is about. That's amazing.
Yeah. Image memes are a whole nother thing. Like SpongeBob especially, because there'll be image memes that'll get popular, like the Eric Andre template you talked about. There was so many from SpongeBob that there's one episode out of all the episodes had like 7 separate image memes come out of it. Like that's just how, I don't know, it's just crazy. Yeah.
Do you guys make image memes ever, or you just stick to video?
Grandayy does.
I make it. I've slowed down a bit on them, to be honest. I used to make much more, almost every day.
How did the image memes where the image itself looks like garbage? It looks like it's been through like 1,000 compressions.
Deep fried.
Deep fried memes.
How did that start?
That's
Where
what
did
they're
that come from?
That came from like, it came from like Instagram and hood humor. Like, so when someone reposts a meme or steals it, it gets more deep fried. JPEG, defragmented or whatever the word is. So the whole joke behind those was like it's like making fun of the memes that get so JPEGified, really bad ones, and then they just take it and move it up to like 1,000. They overdo the saturation, they overdo the caption, the emojis. It was just taking something and just going completely crazy with it, really.
I think it's also to imitate the ear rape based boosted effect as well. It's like
true.
If something is so woke, you deep fry it to emphasize it.
Basically, yeah. What I would say is that take a really lame image that would be on like a cringe, if someone was posting a cringy image, they'll take that. But then once they deep fry it, it becomes funny again. It kind of ties back to the whole irony thing. You can bring something back ironically, and that's the only way it's going to be funny, sort of thing.
It's amazing as you guys explain this stuff and Kevin asked some specific questions, the levels of complexity that go into a meme, like it's shocking, right? Because you guys have talked about playing on irony in some ways. You're communicating something when you have a deep fried image. You're communicating that like this is something that's been through 14 iterations.
Yes, definitely.
That's a subtle meaning that's only expressed in a kind of a hidden way. You have, some memes are funnier when you get the joke, when you're familiar with what's being made fun of. You have a little belonging to, like, you look at this and you're like, this is funny because I know this thing. Not everybody knows this thing, but I do. And then the kind of all the social fits, the way people see a meme and have it resonate, whether it's like a gaming thing, a community they like, community they don't like, something they remember it has longevity like a Mario or a Shrek. something that's going to live for 72 hours.
Yeah.
This is an amazing combination of stuff. And we were talking about what the parallels were in the past. I don't see a parallel for any of this. I don't think anybody's done this stuff before.
I guess there was no medium for it too, right? Like, there was no way for people to spread information and stuff like that without the internet, you know, so nothing would really stick.
Well, and what Matt and I were talking about before we called you guys was this difference between top down and kind of bottom up humor. So it seems like for most of, you know, the past 100 years or so, you kind of have this top down humor where something is happening culturally, say a presidential election. So everybody knows that, you know, Hillary Clinton is running against Donald Trump. So you get all of this humor that trickles down from that through political cartoons or SNL skits or whatever. So everybody is kind of in on the joke because it's this cultural phenomenon, they're tapped into the zeitgeist, and then the comedy trickles down from above. But a lot of what you guys are detailing kind of comes from the bottom up, where you sort of have to be in on a lot of these jokes to begin with, and you have to be tapped into the internet culture in a way that, like, for instance, Grandayy, you posted a Bongo Cat meme playing Minecraft blocks.
Yeah.
And look, I never played Minecraft. Like, I aged out of that. I'm too old for Minecraft. So I missed out.
Even I was too old when I played it, to be honest.
Yeah, so I watched your meme and I'm like, I don't get it, dude. Like, this isn't funny to me. Like, it seems cool. Like, I'm sure other people like it, but I'm like, it flew. I whooshed. It just whooshed right over my head.
Funnily enough, node blocks are kind of, they actually sound good in my opinion. Like, they can make some relaxing music. So part of it is that it's actually surprisingly good to listen to. That's part of the joke. And that song that I played with the node blocks, it was a part of the Minecraft soundtrack, which a lot of people find nostalgic because, like, many people used to play Minecraft like 8 years ago. So it's very nostalgic to just hear that soundtrack again. But node blocks are a big inside joke with me because, like I said, I had a node block channel. That's how I started YouTube, pretty much, with node blocks. So, and recently they became a bigger meme as well, ever since that MCAP parody with the what was it called, the we are mining diamonds.
Yeah, because Minecraft was kind of like it's always been a running, like, ironic joke.
Yes,
but people would relate because of nostalgia as well. It's kind of come full circle as well. Like, Grandayy can put up a notebook cover, like unironic notebook cover, and people will actually enjoy it. Whilst, like, a year ago, people would be like, "Why are people making?" You know, they'd be making fun of the notebook covers. It's very interesting, to say the least.
Yeah, I can actually make a notebook cover, which is actually good, pleasant to listen to, and also ironic at the same time. Like, it's a confusing feeling, but people love it.
But that's the distinction that Kevin was just talking about, where it's pulling humor, like, from the ground up, out of the community, you know, this Minecraft community,
right, yeah.
which may or may not include, you know, people like us, right? You're finding something funny in that, and they don't even know it's funny. They don't know that note blocks are something that they're going to find funny. And you identify that, put it together a certain way, and pull that out of their experience. And then they think it's awesome. That's such a completely different model than almost anything that really has come before. And it's happening in real time. You drop the thing down, drop the video, and you're talking, well, we'll see how this goes in a matter of days, or maybe it lasts weeks, or it's a thing that goes on for a year intermittently. And then it changes out of being ironic and not ironic, and, like, just goes from there.
Yeah, the fluctuation is incredible. Because, again, like, that's not something, that happened in any way. And you can't just take something that used to be annoying and then a year later, all of a sudden, it's hilarious. Like, what is that? That's so weird.
Has irony only, like, recently become popular? Was there any, like, comedy shows back then that would be based on irony at all or anything.
I can't think of anything like that off the top of my head. I mean, Monty Python was pretty sophisticated.
What was that?
Monty Python, like Flying
yeah.
Circus. There was a lot of pretty deep comedy going on there. That was riffing on like weird stuff, like the Dead Parrots sketch with John Cleese.
Yeah, that was pretty famous.
But it doesn't seem as though that, like you said, like talking about real time, like that's just not in real time in a way where, everyone is buzzing about a certain thing online, and within 4 hours, you can make like the perfect piece of comedy about it. That's impossible, and share it with everyone. That was not possible before the internet.
Yeah.
It wasn't even possible really 10 years ago, not to the same degree.
No.
Because enough people weren't seeing the stuff like the mediums or platforms like Twitter and YouTube and Facebook, and the spread just wasn't quite there.
Well, and I hated Twitter for a really long time because I didn't find it entertaining at all. It just seemed like celebrities hawking their movies or shows, and I didn't get it. I remember having a conversation with my brother years ago, being like, "Why would anyone join Twitter unless you're just promoting your thing?" and within the last couple of years, Twitter has become literally my favorite platform because there are people like you guys just consistently putting out absolutely hilariously entertaining things on there, and you can get it in a feed in a way that's less, I feel, it's easier to consume than on YouTube.
Twitter's definitely, I mean, Twitter has its like, there's a lot of shit things in Twitter, but it's still way better than Facebook to me, or Instagram. Facebook especially. Did you know they make you pay to reach your audience on Facebook?
Yeah.
So I don't know how many followers I have on Twitter, but when I tweet, pretty much every person who follows me that's online will see that tweet. On Facebook, they're like, okay, 3% of your audience is going to see this tweet this post. If you want it to reach your full audience, pay us $600 or something ridiculous. It's just like, why the hell would you pay Zuckerberg money to promote your own shit? Yeah.
But Grandayy is doing really well, he said on Instagram. So what's the difference for you there, Grandayy?
Instagram isn't like Facebook where you have to, like, your posts do get, I think, featured with most of your fans, unlike on Facebook. So it's almost more like Twitter, Instagram, I would say.
But Dolan, you don't really like Instagram?
I post occasionally, but I only ever use my Instagram for like kind of personal related stuff. Like when I went to PAX last year, I'd post pictures of some of the models or stuff, or like the plane. There was no meme, not too much meme substance. It was another platform for people who like wanted to know kind of what goes on behind the scenes. And then Grandayy started blowing up because he started posting his videos there. I don't know if he'd always been doing it, but like Instagram can do crazy numbers. So I was like, okay, I might start posting my occasional videos on there. And yeah, it's crazy the growth when you put so little time into Instagram and it just keeps growing. I don't know why. Yeah.
Basically, I still prefer Twitter. Like, it's more of a personal thing. Like, you can tweet anything you want, With Instagram, it has to be.
Yeah, you can't specifically. Twitter's good because I can tweet at Grandayy and our mutual audience will see it.
Yeah.
But on Instagram, I can only comment on his posts and only like a small select people will see it. There's no real interaction on Instagram, really.
And then there's retweeting and quoting on Twitter. I think in general, if there's a community like the YouTube community, something like Twitter really makes it better, like everyone interacting with each other.
So speaking of interaction, I know you guys talk a lot. Have you actually hung out? Have you had an in-person meeting?
No. We live at the opposite sides of the world.
I don't actually know how far. He's like 15 hours away, I think, flight. Until today, actually, we hadn't spoken in person, and they're cool.
Oh, so it's just been DMs and stuff back and forth.
Yeah, because there was no real need to call, right?
Mm-hmm.
We literally I called him literally 10 or 15 minutes before I came on the podcast, just so we weren't talking for the first time on the podcast. Yeah.
But otherwise it's mainly Twitter DMs.
Yeah, like I've met a lot of people through online, as you do, but I've only met Max Mofo before, but I've only met like one or two people that were like big creators really in person.
Do either of you guys do any of the events then? Probably not. Like VidCon in Australia is kind of nearby.
For me.
For you, Dolan. Yeah, and then Europe is close.
I went to the one last year, but I wouldn't go and advertise I was going because obviously my face isn't part of my channel. You know, no one knows what I look like really, except for online friends or whatever. So I would never go and advertise like, hey, come meet me by, booth, whatever. I'm not actually a duck, by the way.
So, and you can't tell really anybody else who you are when you're there, right?
I'm not like ridiculously secretive. Like,
okay.
I met a few of Max's friends, and I didn't care about telling them because they're not gonna like go running and posting my face anywhere. It's more just I like the privacy of it, and the mystery kind of adds to the meme a bit, I think.
Yeah, I've never been like to VidCon or something like that yet. Yeah. So I don't know. Like I don't actually. I doubt I would actually enjoy things like that. But maybe someday.
I wonder if someday, the whole meme thing gets corrupted by corporations and there's like a meme con. There's like a meme con.
Oh, there will be.
Yeah,
I mean,
there will likely be.
And no one will go to it except for the washed up people, pretty much.
Well, maybe you guys will be the washed up people by the time it comes, and you'll be headlining and giving like keynote speeches.
We'll be 60 years old, like with walking canes and stuff,
talking about Shrek,
like a retirement home for former memers.
We'll have fallen off like 10 years prior, and we're still clutching onto the note blocks and Shrek. everyone's like, move on, guys.
And you're like, no, my glory days. It's like the hair metal guy still trying to squeeze into the leather pants at like 55 years old. Oh my God. Well, listen, this was awesome, guys. I can't say enough about how excited I was that you both agreed to be on this podcast because I just didn't know. I mean, you're both anonymous. I don't know how you are like in real life, how open you are about like sharing who you are. And yeah, again, this has been really awesome for me because I've been a big fan of your weird comedy brands for a while, and it's just fun to kind of meet the voices behind the memes.
Yeah, and this was just a very standard conversation between a computer scientist and medical professional, a doctor. Yeah, this is exactly what anybody expects.
Yeah. It's like, we're talking to a doctor in a computer science, but they just make memes. Oh, okay.
Nothing wrong with that.
Like everyone else you interviewed probably actually has like a good profession, and we're just meme makers.
No, man, like look, this is what I love about this podcast is that I feel like there are so many people who are doing such interesting things online right now who come from completely different backgrounds, and you just never know why someone started doing what they're doing. And it's always different and it's always fascinating. And you two are no exception.
We should try when this episode comes out, like what's going to be popular.
Well, that's up to you. You guys are the experts. What will be the current popular meme when this episode drops in 4 weeks?
There's really no way to say, except maybe something from Red Dead Redemption that's going to come out soon. And I expect some memes will come out of that.
I'm trying to think of something that I could say, and it will. I should say something and then try to bring it to life by the time the podcast comes out.
This should make it happen.
This big planned meme, but I guess that's you can't really plan a meme to become a meme. So I don't know.
Maybe something involving like a poorly 3D animated vegetable or something.
Maybe.
Could be.
Cool, guys. Well, thanks again. Dolan, get some sleep if that's something you're interested in. I don't know. I appreciate you staying up.
Can I plug one thing, by the way, because I almost forgot?
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
Please.
Everyone should just go play Witcher 3 Wild Hunt because it's the best game ever.
Have you played it, Kevin?
I have. Yeah, I have.
Good.
Yeah, I played it through. I didn't play the DLC, but I played the main
should.
game all the way through.
I like how
Yeah.
you just plug with The Witcher 3. Don't bother with your own stuff.
A game that came out how long ago?
Long enough so that I know what it is.
Yeah.
3 years, I think, not too
Yeah,
long.
everyone check out
That's still the best
Pac-Man. It's a
game.
new game. Gonna sweep the nation.
Dolan, do you have anything irrelevant to plug? Anything 3 years
Wait,
old
did-
that you'd like to plug that you have nothing to do with?
Did you just call Witcher 3 relevant?
Oh, did you say, do I have anything irrelevant to plug or
Yeah,
relevant?
anything that you were uninvolved with 3 years ago?
I
Plug?
guess check out montage parodies. Check out Apple Gets Wrecked. It's my best video.
It's actually a good video.
I can hear them both dragging the audio into the trash right now.
All right, guys. So check out The Witcher 3. Check out the iPod 5S. And, thanks for listening. And thanks, Dolan, and thanks for Grandayy for taking the time to spend
Yeah,
with us.
thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
This is awesome, guys.
Huge thanks to our guests Dr. Grandayy and Dolan Dark. Be sure to follow them on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, pretty much everywhere. They are just part of the internet, as far as I'm concerned. Thanks for listening to The Create Unknown. If you want to help us out, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Podchaser. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe for free on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, YouTube, or your favorite podcast app. Whatever that is, it's up to you. You can also follow the show on Facebook and Instagram at The Create Unknown and on Twitter at Create Unknown. We couldn't get the word the. Twitter has a character limit, so thanks, Twitter. And our website is thecreateunknown.com. The Create Unknown is a vsauce production in association with Triangle Content. We've been your hosts, Kevin Lieber and Matt Tabor. Check us out on YouTube at vsauce2. Executive producer is Dave Kiney. Our theme song is from the incredible Mega Drive. You can check out Mega Drive's website in the show notes. Host and guest portraits by the amazing Tim Webster. His portfolio and website are also in the show notes. This episode was edited by Adam Ganong. We'll be back in 2 weeks with a brand new episode. Until then, you are about to exit
The Create Unknown. And as always, thanks for listening.